So I hope at least you guys have some basic understanding about the collection, but I will start from the very basic. So let's start the collection. What is collection? You can say that we already in college days we have heard about the data structures. So in arrays these things are not provided. These collection provide the sorting and these methods only which are the predefined, right? So today I am gonna the our agenda is to cover up the array list. Actually array list is part of inside the list interface, right? List interface. So majorly we will be using this array list, right? I'm not going to cover that theoretical part, that what is that diagram and where this array is coming from. Already this data is available in multiple platforms, but the practical sessions we will be going through it. And the set and map. So set we will be implementing through hash set and hash set and tree set. So these are important related to our collections, related to our Selenium. And map we will be implementing through hash map, and if you want to explore then you can go for the tree map as well. Okay, so my agenda is to cover up the array list is the vastly used in the Selenium. So 90% of the collection part is only this array list, right? That's why I will be covering up this topic even more deeper. Then I will be giving an introduction about the set and map. So I hope everybody who has to join already joined. So let me start. We have arrays, right? We have arrays. So if you have arrays, then we can store data in arrays. I have already 2 hours to 3 hours lectures on arrays, 2B, 2D and 1D array. So what array does? Array stores the data, right? Array stores the data. Suppose I have declared an array like this: int roll equal to new int, right? So 5 positions are assigned for array: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? These are 5 positions: 1, 2, 3. Starting with 0 to 4 there are 5 positions, right? What is the drawback with array is that we can store now only integer, right? We can only store the integer values, but when we come to the array list, then we can store any data type to it. So this is one benefit of the array list over the array, right? So we can store any kind of data type, right? Once we define an array list, we are able to store any data type. But people say that if we have arrays, then array list is much better than the array, then why we don't go for the array list always? But there is one drawback of the array list, but one benefit of the arrays is there also. What is that? This we need to be very careful when we will be automating the things. Then we have to take care about these things. Then when to use array and when to use array list, because either the array or the array list has its own some benefits to use of that. First one is that if you go for the arrays, so array performance is better than the array list. This is one of the most benefit available in array. Array performance is better than array list, while performance wise array list is not better than array. So performance wise array is better than array list. But if you talk about the memory savage, so memory wise array list is better, right? If you talk about memory, then array list is better. I will be explaining why this happens, but let me see what question is coming. Yeah, I have started for the recording. So why array list is better than array? right? Sometimes. And why sometimes array is better than array list? What does it mean? Actually, what happens, this we need to take care of when we like using the array or array list. Suppose if I have thousand of students available in my available, I hope that in sometimes I go after thousands of students will be coming to enroll in my website. Suppose I hope that, right? So I will declare an array like this. Suppose I declare array like this, int a or int enrollment number, right? Enroll, and I will make the array. Suppose I make the array for this. So what will happen? New int. I hope that thousands of people will be coming, right? Right. So thousands of memory are going to be created. So thousands memory allocated, right? And if the size of one memory location is suppose 2 bytes, right? Then what will happen? 2000 bytes is allocated. 2000 bytes are allocated. So this much memory is absorbed. Either I put value to it or not put value to it. Either I will remain it blank, but still 2000 memory, 2000 spaces are created and memory is allocated for that, right? And suppose student came only hundreds, so 900 memory locations are wasted. 900 locations wasted, right? So in that case, if I have purchased for only 2 GB plan in GoDaddy or some other hosting website like Hostinger or wherever I want to go for Amazon services, so you know that those things are very costly, and if I purchase a server and a space, then it's going to be very costly. That's why if I use array over there and these much memories are going to be wasted, then it means that I have to pay money for it, right? And you can understand rest of the things, right? But what happens in the case of array list? You defined, suppose I will explain it, but first just understand for theoretically al is equal to new array list. Now I define like this. Here no memory allocated, right? We have not assigned any memory to it. On runtime, if I have to add 10 students, then on runtime I can add 10 students, right? Suppose I have to add 2 students, then only 2 locations will be created, and on runtime I can add them, right? So now you can see I need only 2 memories. I need to enroll only 2 students, so I can only then only 2 memory locations were there on runtime, and memory was saved in how much memory? 998 locations, right? Sorry, 898 how much? Okay, 998 locations were saved, because I have described thousands of locations for array, right? Because I don't know how much people are going to come here. But in the case of array list, this problem will never come, because on the runtime we will create the memory and the add the data to it, right? So this is advantage with array, that array memory wise this is advantage with array list, that memory wise array list saves the memory, right? On runtime they create the allocations and add the data to it, but in case of array we have to predefine the size and these things, right? So this is the disadvantages with the array. But if this is the disadvantage with the array, and if this is the disadvantage with the array, then why only not go for the array list? Because there is a drawback with array list itself, and now I am going to explain that. Performance wise array list is better. Performance wise array is better. Why this happens? Actually what happens when I create array like this? Suppose I create array like this, right? So what happened? Thousands of memory created, doesn't matter, memory wastage is there, okay? But when I want to add the data to it, I can simply add to them, right? Suppose 10 locations I have added data, and I want to add on one more student to enroll it to it, then I can add one more, right? Because already we have 10 students, and in 11 positions new student will be added. But what will happen with the array list? Suppose I have added, and this need to be very careful to understand. Suppose I have declared array list like this, and here I am going to add 10 students, right? Suppose I have added 5. Suppose I have added 10 students, right? Now I have to add the 11th student, right? Now what will happen? When I have to add the 11th student, what will happen? A copy of the array list will be created. This copy of the same array list will be created. Copy is created, right? Right? What copy means? There will be a temporary array list will be created, right? One by one this data will be transferred to the temporary array list, right? One by one each data will be transferred to new. Automatically this will be done by your compiler, you don't need to take care of it, right? A copy of this will be created, and these 10 array data will be copied to new array list, and after this will be successful, your new entry will be added to it, right? So your 11th student will be copied to it. Now this is a new array list which was created, copy was created, every data was transferred. Now this previous one will be available for garbage collection, right? So what happened if we have thousands of students available, and I have to add, suppose I have already 1 lakh of students, right? Any multiple websites are available online which have lakhs of students available, and if any single student is going to be added as a new student, then lakhs of student copy will be created, and then new will be added to new array list, and then array list previous one will be available for garbage collection. So this will slow down your execution process, and performance wise this will be not good, right? So in that case you need to prefer array. So depends on our requirement, what is our focus for the system. If our focus for the system is to save the memory, then go for the array list. If our focus is to save the performance, if your focus is to give the better performance, then go for the arrays, right? So this is, guys, my voice is breaking. Okay. So this was the advantage of array list over the arrays, and array over the array list. So when to use array list and when to use arrays, we need to take care as per our requirement, right? So this was a brief introduction about the array list. So I am going to cover array list much deeper, right? So let me start first. I will copy and paste this inside your chat box. If you want to copy this, just copy it. And now array list is a part of list interface, and these theoretical topics I hope that you will cover, because our we are going to be practical sessions only. So what we are going to cover in array list, first let's note down the points. First we will see add element to array list, remove element, right, restrict array list data type, and class type array list. Right, actually when you save data with array, what happens? Int a, suppose roll number of the students, right, roll is equal to new int, right, you save like this, and what you do, you assign roll number like this. In 0 position you assign suppose 10, in first position suppose you assign 11, like this, right, and you print the roll number. You directly print the index, the roll, then 0th index data will be, but this was your, you can say this, you should not print like this, right, here you need to pass the index and this will print your data. So but there is a drawback with it, that this is, you can only add integer type, right, you can only add the integer type, right, but suppose I come to with the suppose I come to here I have to add student roll number, right, student roll number, and I have to provide the name of a student. So I have to define another array, string name is equal to new string, right, suppose 5, because we have 5 students, 5 roll number, and here I have to give name 0 is equal to whatever I want to give, suppose 1, right, and this way we will do. So I have to define two different type of data types, right, so this can be done in array list in a single. How to do it? Just go and define the array list, and we need to import a package for it. Al is equal to new array list, right. Now there are two ways to import the package. Just click here, control space, it will suggest you to that package, right, or just go here and import after hovering the mouse over the array list, right. So whatever package needed to be imported will be suggested to you. Okay, now you can add any type of data type. Add 101, this is the roll number for a student, suppose, and al dot add, here you can add suppose name of the students, right, al dot add suppose 102, al dot add Sumit, suppose, right. Now you can see just these all the values added, right. If you want to print this, just go and print this list al and just print it, right. All of this data is printed, 101 Vandan and 102 Sumit. Just like you have get data as whole like 0 here, right, if you are printing it. If you want to get the 0th index data, so there is a method get method, you can al dot get, and here you pass the index, so your roll number will be printed, right. If you pass the index 1, then position 1 position data is printed, because for array and array list both, for indexes start from 0. I hope you guys are aware about this, right? If you want to remove the data, then what we can do, actually the removal process, this remove method is not available in your arrays, right? You have to manually uh, delete that, right? There are some processes to do that, but here you have that method add, remove, and after array list we have linked list. Just explore, if you guys explore with that, you can say that you can reset the positions, and many data structures are available in your collections, right? So if you want to remove, then just go and al dot remove. This I am covering very basic, right? So I will be using the class level array list, right? I'll just wait for that first. Suppose I remove this one first position, so what will happen? I have first, let me comment these messages. So no, this one, right? So first my array list is this, right? This is my current array list. I have added 4 data, right? And I have printed that, and now I have removed the first position, so one then will be removed, and after removing I need to print again to see it. Al dot remove. Suppose first position I remove, right? Okay, I have already removed, so I will print al, right? See, Vandan is gone because Vandan was in first position. Now one thing we need to note down. Okay. What is that? When I was adding data, see, one thing you need to see, al dot c, whatever I'm adding is the object, right? So you can add only objects in array list, right? You can see this, whatever I'm adding is the object, right? So this is an object which is getting added in array list. This I will explain it, but until here anybody have any questions in this array list? Nobody? Okay. So now one thing, suppose I want this to distribute.
Your voice was breaking at the end, so it did not get you.
Now it's clear or again breaking?
Yeah, but for your question, yeah, we are good. I'm good with your whatever the release that you are saying.
Okay. Now it's fine, or again it's there some problem with the noise break? Voice is not coming. Okay. Okay. So now other thing is that if I want to restrict my array list to store only the strings, right? So what I can do, I can give a type to that, right? Here I will provide a type, this angles, and now I will add only the string. Now see this error, the method add int string is type string is not applicable for arguments integers, right? Means that you have defined your array list to your array list is now allowing to add only the string, right? Because you have given a generics to it that you are able to add only arrays. But question arises, why, if I am doing this, then why not go for the array, right? But if you go to array, then again you have to predefine the indexes and the locations, so you will not able to add the data on runtime, your memory will be wasted. So at that time there may be requirement that you need to add only the strings, and but you need to not to define the indexes predefined index, right? You want to define your indexes on runtime. In that case, you go for array list, right? So this is the generics about the array list. If you want to provide, if you give integer here, you will be able to add only integer. Okay. Now I will take an example with the classes. Now this will be more difficult sometime, but you guys need to be aware about that. You need to practice this more. Suppose I give a student class, array list of the student type, right? This student have some data. What I am going to do, what is my requirement is actually there will be class student, right? In schools we have already some students, right? So I want that we should able to take, this is my requirement which I am going to fulfill with using the array list, right? We should able to take new admissions, right? This is our first requirement. Suppose this is second and first. Let me define about this. Whatever the faculty, suppose the faculty log in with the system, then faculty should be able to create able to see all students which are already enrolled, like so. This will be kind of mini project, because we have here what we'll be using, we'll be using switch case. So this I will left to you, and we will see I will be using here static block that we all already aware of. Here we will be using constructor. This concept will be used here. So this will be a mini project that will revise all your previous lectures, right? So constructor chaining, and here you will revise inheritance, class object, and array list. So this concept are going to use in this mini project. So suppose I have what I want to do, and what is actually requirement is faculty should be able to fire or remove a student. What query would remove student? This will be your assignment. Some part of I will be completing here, and some part of I will leaving to you guys to complete, so that you will be keep on practice. If you are not able to do it, then Simit will be helping you to complete this, right? So, and one more related assignments will be here also. So okay, but only these three are enough. So I will paste this requirement here. Please copy this to your voice. Is okay now?
Yes.
Okay. So here I am defining in roll number, right? So this student have some roll number, right? So here we can say much better is enrollment ID. Enrollment ID, right? And student string name, you can say student name, right? Now what we need to do, we need to create a parameterized constructor here. And now how can we do that? there is a shortcut of to do that. Either we can just create by using this student and we can do that, but just use shortcut, right click. Here you will find this source, right, and just go to generate constructor using fields. Click on this. Already these fields are selected, right? Just click on this generate. Okay, so this will generate your default constructor. Why I am doing this, that we will get to know. Just wait and watch. But suppose this constructor is responsible to adding a student in your array list, right? Now I want this faculty actually wants that this should have some pre-students, right? Some students, actually what happens in the school, some in new students enrolls and previous students are already there, right? So what this requirement is, that there should be already some students present in your school, right? So how can we do that? These requirements says what? It says that when you just run your program, already some students should be visible to your faculty, right? So how this can you do this? Just add those students in static blocks, because we know that when we run our program, everything runs before that static block runs, right? So static block loads before anything, right? So here I will create a new class, and in this class is responsible for adding the students, right? Add students, right? Add students. So you can say pre-students, or you can say students data. This is enough, this is good. Okay, now I will click on this class. Now what we need to do, we need to add students in it. How can I add that students? Just I explained about the array list. So first I need to create array list, right? Just see array list. Al is equal to new array list. Leave that for time. Now just go and import your package. Import arraylist java.util. Now see what we need to add, what type of data I need to add it, either string or either integer, or what type. Suppose we have marks here for students, float marks. I will not take in my program, but suppose I have to give the marks to the students, then either integer or the string or the floats. How many data types can you pass here? 3, 4, 5, 6. How many? Only one data type you can restrict over here. And in restricting only one data type, you want to add only all these two elements. So what type of data is student? Just pass student here. So your array list type will be student, right? Now you will be able to add only student type of data in this array list, right? So what does it mean? Student type data is what? This class is a type. You normally have heard type. So student type of data you will be able to add, right? Now you want some students already should be present in your school. Just add those students inside a static block. But if I will try to add here dot add, see the error. Cannot make static reference to a non-static field. Actually this block is static. Either you have to define this array list inside it, right? But this data scope will be inside this static block only. I want to access this anywhere, that's why I will define it globally in this class, right? And I will make this static. Okay, now what does it mean? I will first create a main method to show something to you guys. Suppose I int a is equal to 5. I will create a main method here, main class, and main method I will check. I want to use this a here in this. Actually this variable is present inside this student data class, right? I want to use in this main class, right? This data is not coming in this class because we have not performed any inheritance, right? So if we have not performed any inheritance, so how can I use this? Either I have to make this or make the object for this class, and then we can use this variable, right? Second thing is that I will make this as static, right? And because this variable is static, so this will be shared to all. Just use the class name sysout class name dot variable name. You will be able to print this variable. This will happen in the case of methods also. If the method is static, you can directly call that using the class name and the variable name, right? Sorry, method name. Suppose static void print. Print name. Now print right, this data I have printed out. So if the method is static, you can directly call it by using the class name and the method name, or the class name and the variable name. So if I want to use this array list, then I can directly use the class name, which is student data, and the variable name, which is al, right? So I can use this. But data is where? Data is already will be loaded in static block before your main method will load. Before that, static block will load, right? So that once this variable is static, your data will be loaded, and the data, it will assign value to it, right? Now what you need to add on it, I will comment this so there will be no confusion, right? I have to add objects. As I said, add method, add objects. And what objects? First let understand, explaining the one line by one, and then I will be doing it on a shortcut. You need to add objects to it, right? How can you do this? Student, you have to add student type of object, or make it s1, so it will be good. Student enrollment id, suppose I pass 101, and the student name Vandan, right? See, I have made the object for this class only, nothing I have done new, whatever already covered in this session, so I am doing that. So I have added this student inside this object, right? And what I need to, this actually this student object is created. Now I want to add it on my array list. So al dot add, right? What I want to add? Student object, because it add method add only objects, right? I want to add second object, so I have to create student s2, because we cannot have the same name of the object, right? Student 102 Sumit. Now I want to add this object again in my array list. Student s2, right? So okay, this error is coming due to semicolon. So two objects I have added in my array list, right? Likewise, what I have done, I was creating array list al is al, suppose al1 is equal to new array list, and and I was adding data to al dot add whatever that garbage I was adding, but here I am adding only the student type data. So how can I add the student type add data? I can add using the objects created, right? Student s1 holds the student data, right? By default this is taking the
It
same.
is AL1 dot, I guess.
Sorry. Yeah,
AL1 dot.
yeah. So this you can understand that array list I am adding the data inside this array list, but here we are adding objects in it, right? So I hope this makes sense. Now I will run my yes.
And then one question, so sorry to ask you if it is repetitive. So in the first student, why the super came there, it should not be right because we are already directly using that constructor, right?
Super means can you
Yeah, in the print.java.
actually can you repeat your question?
In the yes, in the student.java, when you have initiated the default constructor with parameters, super came. Yeah.
But here we don't have any constructor, right? I have not created
Not
anything
here. I'm talking about the student.java.
here.
Not here.
Where the student?
I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
Ninth line.
okay.
What
They
is the purpose of the ninth line here?
remove this. This comes by default with any constructor, right? So there is no purpose of using this here. I have removed this. There is no purpose of that because I have created this constructor using the some functionalities available in Eclipse. That's why we have already seen that super constructor is available inside any question. Super method is available in first line of by default, right? So who is the parent class for this class? Is the object. So that was referring to the object class. We don't have use over here, right?
Okay, okay. Then
Okay. So what I am doing now, call I will print this or some students available inside my main method, right? So what happened, I have created a student. This is the type of student I have created, and here in array list I have added some students, right? How I have added this you have seen, and here I will print these students. So here I will add using print using the for each loop. Just remove this first. Int I is equal to 0, normal for loop use I am using, right? How much time this loop should run? First need to understand. Sys out how much time this should run before
array list problem.
array list. But how can I get this variable inside this class, because we don't have extended it, right? How can I get? Just I have shown that class name see dot variable name is al, right? And this class name dot variable name, now size of this variable, how many, what is the size of this array list, right? How can I get? There is a no, the length method is present for array, right? We have size for array list to get the size of the, right? So this will return me the size of the array, right? I will suppose I will run this code. See 2, because I have only added the two objects, right? S1 and S2. Now I want to print them. So how much time loop should run? 2 times. So how can I get the size of the array? This I have explained, right? This print here, and I plus plus. So I will be running from 0 to 1, right? So I should be less than, okay, here I should be less than 2, right? Just because it will run for 0 and 1, right? So if you are able to understand these lines, this means that the same things and same points will be used in your Selenium and the calendar or apps at that calendar automation and everything that will require the array list or the collections. So if you are able to understand today, then you will not face problem tomorrow. So if you have any questions, you can raise your question here. Okay, now I will print the array list. Suppose I print student data. Suppose I print AL directly. What does it mean? Sorry, student data dot AL I have to print. I have to print variable, right? And how can I access that variable? Class name dot variable name. See what printed. This is printed in form of the string, and same. Suppose first time I will get like this. I will just, I said that if you want to get the position for any object, just pass 0 here. See, this is your form of the string. Why is this happening? Just first remove this get method so that we can understand. By default, if you print any object, by default Java convert to the string, right? To string. If you write this method after this, okay, if you not write it, it by default written and hidden, right? So how can I print the data? What type of data you are printing? You are printing student type of data. This class don't mean of this class. What this class means? This class means this class have the student type of data that you have added over here, right? And you are printing array list, right? Don't relate it to that this is student data type, right? This student data type is just a class name. With the taking of this class name help, you are accessing this variable, sorry, this variable AL. And what type of this AL is? Actually this AL is of student type, right? So in go to this student class and override this toString method, which is converting your data into string format. Just go and override, and you don't need to do anything. This is so powerful feature that you can do it by taking the help of your Eclipse IDE. Go to source, generate toString, right? With check the all field names, right? Here you have overridden this. You can write your own method for printing this, right? But just leave it here only. You can write, but understanding for this purpose, that just leave it here, and you just need to understand why I have overridden this toString method. Because whenever I try to print an object, class name, object name, then it was directly converting into the string. If you write it or not write it, it was doing that. So you have to override a toString method over there. Run this application. Now you can see. But what's happening, actually, just remove this, because this is written by default, right? Actually I can show you without doing this, but if you will face problem in future, then you will not able to understand why this is happening and how to resolve this. That's why I am taking these small points along with the concept, right? So that you will be able to understand. If I am using student data dot variable name, this is the class name dot variable name, that variable is static, I can use that. Okay, this is, you understand. I am using class name dot variable name, and what it's doing, class name dot variable name, what this variable holds, this whole list, right? Whole array list. So first time when it was running for 0th position, it printed whole list, right? second time it was run for first position, it again printed whole list. But I want that inside list my first object printed first time, second object printed second time. So I have to give, just I have shown previously also, that give your index here. Suppose I give 0. So what will happen? 0 position index, because this loop will run 2 times, right? This loop will run 2 times because size is 2. So 0 object will be printed, 0 position object will be printed 2 times, right? One then is printed 1 0 1. So what I want to do, first time 0 position should be printed and second time first position should be printed. So I have to put I value here, right? Now see, now first time my data is printed, second time Sumit data was printed, right? So this was about some knowledge about you, the. Now guys, give me a minute, I am coming back and I will pause here some for a few seconds.